Alright, what's up guys? Brian here, and this is my Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory 2017 recap. I'm going to give a brief recap of what took place tonight at Bound for Glory, as well as my thoughts on the entire show itself. So let's get right into it. The first match was the six-way X Division title match. Trevor Lee defended against Petey Williams, Sanjay Dutt, Garza Jr., Desmond Xavier, and Matt Sydal, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Matt Sydal. And Trevor Lee walked out victorious after taking advantage of Petey Williams hitting the Canadian Destroyer, and he threw Williams out of the ring and then scored the win for himself. So Trevor Lee is still the X Division champion. We saw a couple of appearances, one by Jimmy Jacobs, who was fired by WWE after a photo of him outside of with members of the Bullet Club I believe it was a few months ago when they were in I believe they were in Los Angeles for Raw, and Bullet Club were outside of the arena, and Jimmy Jacobs got caught in a photo with them, so he was fired, and he made an appearance tonight at Bound for Glory. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. We also saw in the crowd Santino Marella. So that was really surprising to see him there. We saw the return of Alberto El Patron, who cut a real scathing promo about Impact Wrestling not caring about him, how they suspended him without even knowing the facts and of what happened with his legal issues as far as dealing with the authorities. That whole situation I'm not going to get into. He then was threatened to go beat up Jeremy Borash, but thought against it, decided not to do it. So that was pretty interesting to see. This would not be the first time we would see, or the last time. This would not be the last time we would see Alberto El Patron tonight at Bound for Glory, and I'll get into that in just a moment. We had Tyson Dukes taking on Ishimori in a pretty good matchup. Ishimori came out on top in this one. Abyss defeated Grado in the Monsters Ball that saw a lot of weapons being used. Saw the Laurel Van Ness getting involved. Saw Rosemary getting involved. And Abyss with the Black Hole Slam defeats Grado. That means that Grado, his visa is no longer is voided, so he's got to go back to his home country. I believe it's Scotland, if I'm not mistaken. If anybody knows about in the storyline what his where he's got to go back to, please let me know in the comments below. We had Team AAA of Pagano, El Hijo del Fantasma, and Tejano. They lost to Team Impact of EC3, the Impact Grand Champion, Eddie Edwards, the GHC Heavyweight Champion, and the Cowboy James Storm in what was a really exciting matchup. We saw LAX and OVE put on a very incredible tag team 5150 street fight for the Impact Tag Team titles that saw the debut of Sami Callihan, as he would help OVE retain the tag team titles by hitting a sick pile driver from the ring apron through a table to the arena that was set up on the arena floor to one of the members of LAX, and that is what helped OVE retain their tag team championships. We saw the crowning of a new Knockouts champion as Gail Kim wins for her seventh and final time at Bound for Glory, defeating Allie and the reigning champion Sienna in a triple threat match. So big congratulations go out to Gail Kim. They did announce that on Thursday on Impact, Gail Kim will be there to talk about this victory. Of course, with her retiring at the end of this year and this being her last Bound for Glory, she went out on top. So she becomes Knockouts champion for the 7th time. We saw King Mo and Lashley, with the help of Dan Lambert and America's Top Team, score the win over Moose and Stephan Bonnar. This one was actually pretty not lopsided match, but it was kind of a bit of a not a disappointment, but a bit of a letdown, because you had Moose and Lashley, they were fighting. Stephan Bonnar and King Mo, there were two times during the match that they were teasing that these guys were gonna go at it, but then Lashley and Moose would take them both out. Like, Moose would take out King Mo, and Lashley would take out Stephan Bonnar, and then they would go at it again. But then near the end of the match is when they finally went to blows. Basically making it look like a UFC fight, an MMA fight. Takedowns, punches. Stephan Bonnar locked in a couple of submissions. But in the end, Dan Lambert and America's Top Team would wind up getting inside the cage, and that is pretty much what helped Lashley and King Mo score the victory in this matchup. And then, of course, that brings us to the main event, which was Johnny Impact challenging Eli Drake for the Impact Global Championship. This was actually a pretty good matchup between these two, which I thought it was going to be a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be I thought it was going to be a good match, but it turned out to be a solid matchup, in my opinion. A lot of back and forth. The ending, however, was pretty much Eli Drake retaining. However, it was because Alberto El Patron, Johnny Impact had Eli Drake pinned after hitting Starship Pain, and referee was counting 1, 2, but Alberto El Patron came out and through the crowd and pulled the referee out of the ring. Then when Johnny Impact tried to go for a dive onto Patron would pull the referee in the way, and the referee would take the hit. Then Patron would hit Johnny Impact with a steel chair. He would go around and grab the Global Championship, go back in the ring, hit Eli Drake with it, and then would Patron would throw Impact back in the ring, and then would proceed to pull Eli Drake over on top of Johnny Impact, would then wake up the referee, and the referee would count 1, 2, 3. So Eli Drake, still the Impact Grand Global Champion tonight at Bound for Glory. I do like the way they set this up, with Patron and Johnny Impact. Now these two can have a feud. Of course, anyone that has watched Lucha Underground remembers their feud there. So, they're going to probably this is probably going to be a feud between these two. And then of course you have, them both battling it out to see who's going to be in the running for a shot at the title. Johnny Impact's going to want some revenge, so we'll have to wait and see what happens Thursday as far as that situation is concerned. But my overall thoughts on tonight's Bound for Glory, I actually thought it was a pretty good show. There were a couple of good matches, like the Team Impact versus Team AAA match I thought was pretty good. I did think that the Impact Global title match between Eli Drake and Johnny Impact was pretty good. the OVE and LAX match I thought was awesome. And that was pretty much it. I mean, there was some other matches. There was of the other matches I thought were pretty decent, not good, not fantastic, but I thought they were they were pretty decent. So with that being said, this has been my quick recap of what took place at tonight's Bound for Glory 2017. If you guys watched, for any Impact Wrestling fans out there that watched tonight's pay-per-view or watched tonight's event, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. And what do you guys think is going to happen this Thursday night? So with that being said, as always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.